Hello and good afternoon. My name is Joshua Tenzer, and I would like to welcome you to Game 2 of the doubleheader between the University of Michigan Wolverines softball team and the Central Michigan Chippewas. Pitching for the University of Michigan Wolverines is Hannah George, and she throws high for ball one. Leading off for the Chippewas is Tolmy. She also led off last game, going 1 for 2, reaching base twice, once on an error, once on a single. And that'll be high, ball 2. 2-0 is the count. Hannah George, the graduate student, pitching for the Wolverines. She graduated from UNC the prior year. I believe she got an appearance last night's game against Toledo. And that's ball 3 for Hannah George. That one goes low. 3-0 is the count. Hannah George getting in some trouble early. At a 4.06 ERA in her career with the Tar Heels. 45 and 33 is the record, and that's a strike high. Told me backing up, thinking that was going to be a 4-ball walk. No such luck for her. George checks the signs. She came in relief of Drakowski yesterday. And that's a foul tip. Counts now full, 3-2. Earlier today, the Wolverines won Game 1 of this doubleheader. They won it 2-0. RBIs by Mataya and Erickson. Wolverines have outscored their opponents 16-0 in these first two games of fall ball, and that's a walk for Tolmy. Coming to the plate is number 41 in red. That is Michele Valamont. In Game 1, she went 0 for 2 with a walk. Struck out swinging once. And she'll take strike 1. Fastball right down the middle. George looking to her coach. Getting ready for the pitch. Rocks and throws. Called strike 2. Valamont was showing bunt, pulled her bat back as the pitch was on the lower side of the batter box. Rushing in was Kara Kabaru. She's playing first. She and Thole switched off. Thole now catching behind the plate. And the pitch. Just a bit inside. 1-2 is the count for George. On deck is number 13, Britton. Next pitch is low. 2-2 the count. George checks the signs. Steps back. Pop fly high into the air, over the netting. Watch your head. Hits the railing and comes down safely. And that's staying alive for Valamont. Second straight batter where Hannah George is going to have to throw 6 or more pitches. Ground ball, slow dribble up the third base line. Throw to Kara Kabaru is in time. Kara Kabaru looked like she almost dropped it, but she did not. Tolmy moves to second on that one. That's a 5-3 out. Britton to the plate, the righty. And that's Coberly on deck for the Chippewas. Top four of the lineup looking the exact same. Britton struck out twice, both times swinging, and also walked once. She was then replaced by a pinch runner in the early game. Then she came in relief of a different batter, and it's a 5-3 putout. It was weird. Either way, through 2 pitches, it's a 1-1 count. Ball and then a foul tip. George looks to the dugout. Flattens the dirt in the pitcher's circle. Wind up and pitch. Just a bit outside, strike 2. Or on the outside of the plate, rather. Not just a bit outside. It was in the strike zone, strike 2. Here's a pitch from George, the 1-2 pitch. Solid contact, deep into left field, diving, can't make the catch, is the left fielder, and that's a double, and the Wolverines allow their first run, a foul ball. Britton with an RBI double brings Tolmie home. The left fielder for the Wolverines, if the lineups are the same as before, that's Sealer. I believe that is Sealer. Dove as the ball came to the gap directly in between the center fielder and left field. Ball went just out of her reach, rolled all the way to the wall. Wolverines down 1-0 early with George pitching. Low and outside, ball 1. Chippewas have a runner on second. Here's the pitch. Off speed, low and outside. 1-2. 2-0 is the count. On deck for the Chippewas, Kelsey Alexander, who had the most athletic stops out in left field. Swing and a miss. That's strike 1 for Coberly. Alexander was the defensive stalwart for the Chippewas, and that shows with her numbers. In her past 3 years, the Chippewas, she had a .982 fielding percentage, just 6 errors, and 304 putouts, 22 assists. Solid contact made again. That's lined into center right field all the way to the wall, and that's another RBI double, as that double from Coberly will drive Britton in. It's 2-0 Chippewas early. Wolverines find themselves in an unfamiliar position. In fall ball, they've not been behind, let alone given up a run. And an early mound visit with 1 out. Kelsey Alexander at the plate in game 1. She struck out twice, both times swinging. The second time was a dropped ball where Thole made the catch from Caracabru. 2 of them were swapped their positions. And then she flew out to the second baseman in the 6th. Quite a lengthy discussion between coach, catcher, and pitcher. Looks like Jennifer Brundage was the one having that conversation. It's her 25th season with the Wolverines. And that's called strike 1 on Alexander. The righty coming to the Chippewas by way of Ypsilanti, Michigan. Makes solid contact, ground to the shortstop, unable to corral the ball is number 23 in maize and blue. And that will be a single that moves Coberly over to third. So the Chippewas have runners on the corner and just one out. On the corners, rather. Samantha Suva gets the start in the 6th spot for the Chippewas. She came in as a pinch hitter for Coberly earlier, and she struck out in the early game. Struck out swinging. Hannah George starting her first game of fall ball. That's a ball. Quickly falls behind in the count, 2-0. Hannah George checks her wrist for the signs. Narrows her gaze. Rocking the pitch. And that's another ball. 3-0 is the count. Lots of struggles for Hannah George early. If I remember properly, she also had some trouble finding the strike zone last game. And that's a strike on a check swing. The ball was high up in the zone. If I remember correctly, she walked 2 batters for the Rockets last night. Again, stats are hard to come by for a foul ball. And that is a walk to load the bases. Alexander moves forward. Suva goes up. And now to the plate with the bases fully loaded. And a new pitcher for the Wolverines just that early with 1 out in the first inning. Emerson Aiken. Will come to the mound, have a couple warm-up throws. So that'll be the end of Hannah George's day. 0.1 innings pitched, 2 walks, 2 earned runs on 3 hits. No strikeouts for her, no hit by pitches, no balks. Emerson Aiken, sophomore, pitched for the Wolverines last night. Just 1 game in the circle. Got 2 outs. So she came in relief of that game. Didn't allow a run. Oh, sorry, that's not correct. She allowed 3 runs on 1 hit. Walked 3. Gave up a home run. That was her 1 appearance against Elon, and her career ERA is 105. Small sample size does some weird things for averages. All right. Emerson Aiken is out of warm-up pitches. Up to the plate is number 2, Lucy Cronin. Last game, Cronin flew out to right field and struck out twice. And now with the bases loaded, she'll have a chance to get her first couple RBIs of foul ball. She's only got 1 RBI in her career with the Chippewas. 46 plate appearances and just 4 hits. Slugging percentage of 130. Called ball, and here's this pitch 2. That's a strike. Count is 1-1 with the bases loaded for the for the Chippewas. Aiken checks the signs. And the pitch. There's contact made. It's a pop-up Grabbing it is the shortstop, number 23 for the Maize in blue, Avery Fantucci. Fantucci played last night against Toledo. Didn't get any action in Game 1 of the doubleheader. She's a freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. Contact made on the first pitch for number 22 in red and yellow, Bracamonte. That sent foul. Two outs. 0-1 pitch to Bracamonte, who was hit by pitcher first time up last game, and then 2 outs. Called strike 2 on the outside edge of the strike zone, and the Wolverines are 1 out away from an inning that was bad but could have been much worse if they managed to get this out. Bases are loaded. And the pitch from Aiken. Contact made. Pop fly lands in left field at the grass. 2 runners will score. And that's a 2-out, 2-run double for Bracamonte. Gets 2 RBIs to her name as she brings Coberly home and Alexander home. Suva makes it to third. And now to the plate is the catcher from last game, Mills. Unsure if she'll catch or not this game. Wolverines down 4-0 early in this game. Aiken throws ball 1. Low and inside. Want to thank you for joining us, softball faithful. You know, there's a lot of softball fans out there who listen to WCBN radio. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Aiken. Swing and a miss. Counts evened up at 1. 2 outs, runners on second and third. Emerson Aiken won Gatorade Player of the Year her last year in high school. She's a Virginia Softball Player of the Year. She also won a gold medal with Tennessee Mojo at the Junior Olympics Cup under 16 division. Pitch is low. She's been unable to replicate that same success in college. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Strike called. The count is full. Aiken checks the signs. And the pitch is low. That's a walk. And the bases are loaded once again. And up to the plate is Tolme. Her second time up. She walked and scored her first time around the bases earlier this inning. Pitch is high. 1-0 is the count. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Check swing. Third base umpire says she went around. And the pitch, the 1-1 pitch. Foul, chopped off the bottom of the bat into foul territory, rolls back into fair territory, but it's a foul tip strike. 1-0 is the count, 2 outs, bases loaded. Wolverines were 1 strike away from ending this inning before, and that was when Bracamonte hit her 2-run double. Second time they find themselves as 1 strike away, and the pitch, grounded foul. There's a chopper down the first baseline that slowly made its way onto the other side of the white line. Aiken checks the signs. Rocks back on the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And the Wolverines end that inning, facing 10 batters, giving up 4 runs on 4 hits. No errors, and 3 players left on base. So all things considered, that could have been much worse. Wolverines having a conversation, led by, it appears to be assistant coach Amanda Chidester. Chidester, in her first season with the Wolverines, well, first season in a coaching role, she was a 2-time All-American and Big Ten Player of the Year, and she was a silver medalist with Team USA in the Tokyo Olympics. She retired from active competition on August 28th. And in her final career at bat, she belted a 2-run homer. These fun facts courtesy of mgoblue.com. So she played for the Wolverines, ending in 2012. Then played pro ball for 3 seasons with Athletes Unlimited. Also played for the Scrapyard Dogs, Chicago Bandits, in the National Pro Fast Pitch League. And while she was there, she was named the League Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and Home Run Award winner in 2019. And Ellie Mataya comes to the plate for the Wolverines, as the Wolverines look to try to strike back and chip away at this 4-run Chippewa lead. Mataya reached first on a fielder's choice, grounded out, and hit a RBI double in the first game of this doubleheader. And the pitch, called a ball. In the circle for the Chippewas is Caitlin Bean, the redshirt senior out of Oxford, Michigan. And that's strike 1 called, 1-1. Bean in her 5th year with the Chippewas. She's been slowly dropping her ERA every year since sophomore year, where it was a 5.30, then a 4.98, then 3.75 her last season. Here's the pitch. Contact made. That ball is sent into foul territory. It's sliding into the wall, but making the catch is the left fielder for the Chippewas. That'll be Alexander. And again, through game 1 and now game 2, she is the defensive shining gem for the Chippewas. Audrey LeClaire up to bat for the Wolverines. Game 1, she hit a triple her first time up and then lined into a double play and then flew out to right field. Here she'll take ball 1. Steps back into the box. Bean checks her wrist for the sign. The pitch. Foul tip. Up and over the netting. Up and over the grandstands and into the parking lot. Bean walks back to the circle. As Leclerc takes a few practice swings, steps back into the box. Here's the pitch from Bean. Hard hit ball into center right field, and that'll be caught on the run by Valamont. She didn't stop moving her legs the whole time. Took a long journey to the ball, but she caught it. And now Ellie Sealer will be at the plate for the Wolverines, the sophomore lefty. Sealer went 0 for 3 during game 1. 2 ground outs and a fly out to left. She loads her weight and waits for the pitch. Foul tip up into the stands. Good catch by one of the Chippewa fans. Tracked it the whole way. Caitlin Bean, the pitcher from Oxford, Michigan. 21 and 32 in her 62 starts. Another foul tip, just goes off the bat. Goes to the same section, section 7, in case you're familiar with Alumni Field. That is the section when you start going up the third base line from home plate. Count is 0-2. Here's the pitch. She'll watch ball 1 go by. Fastball, high and outside. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Bean looking for the sign. Rocks back and throws. Sort of ground ball in the dirt, rolled its way through the plate. So a lot of speed on it, but not accurate. 2-2 is the count. Bean with the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 up, 3 down for the Wolverines in the first. And that brings up Valamont, Britton, and Coberly. 2 of them already with RBIs on their day, 2 of them with doubles. Valamont grounded out. Britton and Coberly, the 2 with the doubles. We'll be right back with you in just over a minute for inning number 2 in game 2 between the Chippewas and the Wolverines. It is the top of the second inning for the Central Michigan Chippewas. Up at the plate is number 41, Valamont. Grounded out to third her last time up. She was right before the early onslaught of runs by the Chippewas. They're up 4-0 through one inning. That's ball one. Staying on the mound is Aiken. This pitch hit foul hard down the third base line. Ends up going all the way to the outfield wall. Couple relay throws bring it back to Aiken. Aiken checks for the signs. Looks to her wrist. Rocks back and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike two. 1-2's the count. To Valamont, who on the day is 0 for 3. Aiken's pitch hits the dirt 3 or 4 feet in front of the plate. 2-2. Here's the pitch. Again, chop foul down the third base line. Valamont staying alive, just like her first time up to the plate, back in the first inning. Takes a couple practice swings, moved back into the box. Britton on deck. She hit a RBI double her last time up. That drove in Tolmie. Foul tip by Valamont. She stays alive. That was pitch number 6 of the at-bat. These long innings, these long at-bats. Certainly good news for the Chippewas. Even if you don't get hits on all of them, you're making the Wolverines go deep into their bullpen, already having to pull out a relief pitcher 1 out into the game. Hard hit ball through the legs of the third baseman, LeClaire. Backing her up was the shortstop. McVeigh. But Valamont reaches first base. And they're going to call that an error on LeClaire for not fielding the ball cleanly. Hit her glove and trickled on through. It's Michigan's second error of the day. Both of them coming on that left side of the field. One of them for McVeigh earlier in the day to get Tolmie a leadoff single. First pitch is ball 1 for Britton. Here's the pitch from Aiken. Swing and a miss. A little pump fake from Karakabaru towards Thull. Forces Valamont back to the bag. 1-1's the count. Aiken winds up in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 count for Britton, who doubled her last time to the plate. Here's the rock and the pitch from Aiken. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Aiken. And up to the plate is Coberly. Coberly, who also hit an RBI double. She drove in Britton. First pitch, fastball, watched for strike one on the outside edge of the strike zone. Right in the righty. Stands just a smidge ahead of the plate in the large softball batter box. Aiken checks the signs, shuffles the ball around in her glove, rocks back on the pitch. Hard hit, just gets past the third baseman all the way to the warning track. And that will be another double for Coberly. No RBIs as Valamont stays on third. Still 4-0, but that was almost something great defensively for the Wolverines. Diving to reach that ball was Leclerc. Just missed her as it snuck in between her and the foul line. Here's the pitch. Low for ball one. The Chippewas have two batters in scoring position. Two runners in scoring position, rather. Aiken checks her wrist. Digs in and the pitch. Off speed inside. 2-0 is the count. Starting to look like it might be a long second game for the Wolverines. Aiken rocks back. Here's the pitch. Low ball 3. Check swing by Alexander. Now it's early. 3-0 count. Alexander, who singled and scored her last time up. No RBIs, though. Fastball taken for strike one. 3-1's the count for Aiken. This is now Aiken's longest appearance of her Michigan career. And that is a walk, bringing Alexander to first, loading the bases for Suva. Suva, who has walked her last time up. She made it all the way to third. And this is the third time the bases have been loaded for the Chippewas. Another meeting between associate coach for the Wolverines, Jennifer Brundage, the catcher, Thole, daughter of head coach Bonnie Thole, and the pitcher Aiken. Quick little strategy meeting. No pitching substitution. Thole returns to behind the plate. Suva stands ready. First pitch called strike. Suva stands farther back in the box, the lefty. Check swing. Low for a ball. Count is 1-1. The first base ump says she didn't go around. Aiken checks the signals on her wrist. Rocks back in the pitch. Off-speed pitch in there for strike two. Aiken ahead in the count, 1-2. Suva loads her weight onto her back foot. Swing and a miss, strike three. Third strikeout of the day for Aiken. That's out 2 for the top of the second. And that'll bring Cronin, who popped out to the shortstop her last time up. Bases loaded. It's her second time she's appeared this game with bases loaded. She's 0-1 on the day. Pitch from Aiken, swing and a miss. That's strike 1. The count is 1-1 for Cronin. Cronin's a junior out of South Lyon, Michigan. Last year, she had 41 plate appearances, just 4 hits. That's a high ball, too. Up at eye level. Thole had to come up to make the catch. Chippewas lead the game 4-0 in the top of the second. They have bases loaded. The pitch, contact made. It's pop fly up in the air. Running in to make the catch is number 25 for the maize and blue, Leclerc, all the way from third base, but it ends up being Thole who makes the catch just outside the batter's box. And that pop-up to the catcher will end the inning. The Chippewas will leave 3 on base again after 1 hit and 1 error. No runs, though. It's still 4-0 heading into the bottom of the second. So another jam pitched out of by Aiken. Twice now she's found herself with bases loaded and 2 outs, managed to find her way out of it. Of course, there was a time when there was bases loaded, and Bracamonte hit a 2-run double off of her. We'll see what the Wolverines choose to do for the next inning, whether they'll keep Aiken in or move to their third pitcher of the game. Up to the plate for the Wolverines, it's number 24, Melina Livingston. Her last time up was in game 1 of the doubleheader. Line drive. She had a line drive out to center. She's actually 1 for 3 today. Hit a single but was caught stealing in their middle appearance of the first game, and she'll take ball 1 low. Jump out to an early lead in the count, 1-0. Here comes the pitch. Ball low. 2-0 is the count for Livingston. Here's the pitch. Foul tip. Up and over the press box on the first base side. Pitch had some heat on it. Good cut by Livingston. Here's the pitch. Outside ball. 3-1 is the count for Livingston. It's a batter's count. Here's the pitch. as Bean looks to her wrist, winds up and throws. And she'll walk Livingston on 5 pitches. And that'll bring Thole to the plate. Thole, who hit a home run last night against the Toledo Rockets. And earlier today, went 0 for 2 with a walk, flew out to left field and grounded to first base. Bean gets ready to throw. Thole loads her weight, pulls the bat off her shoulder, watches ball 1. On deck is Avery Fantucci. Fantucci, who played yesterday but didn't get any time today. Freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Outside for ball 2. And the Chippewas will have a quick little mound visit. The whole infield coming into the pitching circle, as that is now 6 out of the last 7 pitches by Bean missing the strike zone. If you're liking what you're hearing, stay tuned for more fall ball coverage, and of course, WCBN will cover almost every single home softball game this upcoming spring, as well as plenty of road games. We got a road trip going to the Florida tournaments. That'll be a lot of fun there. And also, if you just like hearing WCBN's coverage, there is a hockey game tonight at 7 p.m. It's an exhibition game. The Wolverines will take on Windsor. There's a lot of questions about the hockey program after a disappointing Final Four appearance last year, where they lost in overtime to the eventual champions, the Denver Broncos. A lot of people thought if they would have won that game, they would have beat Minnesota State. Swing and a miss from Kiki Thole. 2-1 is the count. Bean looks to the dugout. Rears back. She has a quicker motion than some of the other pitchers we've seen today. Foul tip by Thole. Send the ball back into the netting behind home plate. Stays in the field, though. Thole gets set. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Hit hard, deep into left field, to the wall, and just out. That's a 2-run home run for the Wolverines. Her second home run of fall ball for Kiki Thole. That must have been 210 feet. Back down the left side with the wind blowing in towards home plate from left field. That still managed to go out. And Thole hit an absolute moonshot last night as well, right down the same third base line. Made it probably around 230, 240 feet last night. Today's just a bit shorter. Wolverines got the lead to 2. Here's the pitch. Ground ball just past the pitcher. And the throw from the shortstop is in time. Fantucci out at first. And that'll bring number 7, Maddie Erickson, to the plate. Another freshman. She got to play in the first game of the doubleheader. Just had 2 plate appearances, 1 in the second, 1 in the 5th. Both of them were outs, a fly out to left field and a line drive to the shortstop. She tips this one foul. count is 0-1. Caitlin Bean, the redshirt senior, looked for the count. Solid hit ball deep into right field. And that one's gone to back-to-back home, pardon me, not back-to-back home runs, but 2 home runs in the inning. Erickson's first home run of fall ball, and the Wolverines cut the Chippewas' lead to 1 here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. That home run made it all the way to the outfield grandstands and fell through the little stairwell there. Probably, in my estimates, I'd say about a 230-foot shot down to right center field, and the crowd are back in this game, and so are the Wolverines. Karakabaru looking to keep the Wolverines' momentum rolling, just 1 out in this bottom of the 2nd inning. First pitch is high. Karakabaru thinks about swinging, but thinks better of it. Bean made the all-freshman team her first year. 8-7 was her record in 21 games started. Ground ball just dribbles foul down the third base line. Karakabaru goes back to the plate. Karakabaru steps back into the batter's box. She stands with her back foot at the corner of, at the back point of the plate, has a wider stance. Another pitch goes high. 2-1 is the count for Karakabaru. Here's Bean with the pitch. Check swing, but she goes around. Count is 2-2. Bean steps back into the circle. And the pitch. Outside, count is full. Bean re-ups on the rosin. Steps back into the circle. Karakabaru, the junior out of Riverside, California. It's a hard ball, but that's high. Got a lot of backspin on it. Slows down. Drops and will be caught by the right fielder. Number 41 in red, Valamont. It's a fly ball. That'll bring the 9th player in the batting order up to the plate for the Wolverines. That's Maddie Rainey. Rainey played last night, had a unremarkable game. Got her 2nd start of fall ball action. Pitch 1 is a high and inside strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Off speed, slow pitch that dropped back into the zone. 0-2 count. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Contact made. Pop out to the shortstop, and that'll end the inning. 2 home runs get the Wolverines 3 runs in the bottom of the second. Those are the only 2 hits of the inning. No one was left on base, so through 2, the Wolverines still trail 1-0, and they bring Aiken back to the mound. I'll be right back with you in just over a minute for inning number 3. We are back with the 3rd inning between the Michigan Wolverines and the Central Michigan Chippewas. This is game 2 of the doubleheader. My name is Joshua Tenzer. Thank you very much for joining us here for WCBN's coverage of softball fall exhibition games. Wolverines had a 3-run bottom of the 2nd inning to make the score 4-3 after 4 earned runs by starter Hannah George brought the Wolverines to an early 4-run deficit. The count is 2-0 to number 22 in red. Make that 2-1 called strike. Bracamonte is up for the Chippewas. Hit a 2-run double her last visit to the plate. That was off of Aiken. Aiken would love to strike her out now. The count is 3-1. She was just the 2nd batter Aiken faced of the day, coming in relief. Here's the pitch, and that'll be a walk. Low and outside. So Bracamonte takes first. A 5-pitch at bat. Now up to the plate is Mills. Mills walked her last time up. Early in the day, she struck out twice. Game 1 of the doubleheader. And we have another pitching substitution. Coming in for the Wolverines is number 18, Lauren Drakowski. Drakowski, who had a fantastic start last night. So at the end of the day, that is 1.1 innings pitched for Aiken. She gives up 2 hits. Two runs. Two walks as well. Three walks as well. And 3 strikeouts. None hit by pitch, no balks for all you scorekeepers out there. Drakowski pitched 4 innings last night. Went scoreless. Again, she was facing Toledo, a little bit less higher caliber of opponent than Central Michigan. And with a couple of warm-up pitches, we're seeing the difference between Drakowski and then George and Aiken. Drakowski's fastball, just so much more power on it than either of the other two Michigan pitchers who have appeared today. I mean, those are laser-guided rockets right through the strike zone. Lauren Drakowski, a sophomore out of Elmhurst, Illinois. Last year, she appeared in relief more often than she started. She started just 5 games at a 3-3 record in 19 appearances, 44.2 innings pitched, allowed 29 hits, and she'll take this grounder to first, and she'll throw it to first. It's a 1-3 putout for the first out of the inning. Bracamonte moves on to second. Good job by Mills there, showing no hesitation, trying to get the play at second that she knew she couldn't. Decided just to throw to first. And now Tolmie back up to the plate. Her third plate appearance in 3 innings. She had 2 in the first. She walked and struck out first inning. Tolmie steps back to the plate after taking ball 1. She stands with her front foot midway through the plate. She stands very far back in the box. And that is an outside ball for Drakowski. 2-0 count. And the pitch. Check swing. They're saying she went around. Count is now 2-1. Foul tipped. Back into the netting. Drakowski plays pitcher. In high school, she also used to play first base just a little bit. And she has an off-speed pitch up high. That's a ball. Count is full, 3-2. Drakowski takes a deep breath and composes herself. Shifts the ball a lot in her hands. Rocks back, and the pitch. Hit, slow roller to second. And another easy put out at first. Good fielding of the ground ball by Maddie Rainey. Gets behind it. It's perfect mechanics and a great throw to Karakabru to get the put out. Valmont back to the plate. Reached first on an error by the third baseman. Her last time up. And on that ground ball, that moved Bracamonte over to third. Fastball called strike. 0-1's the count. Drakowski checks the signs. And the pitch. Just high. There are a couple questions for the Wolverines about how these 3 fall ball games have gone. I know it's early. There's plenty of time left. But so far in these 3 games, there are only 2 pitchers who've made appearances that you can truly trust in a high leverage starting situation. That would be Drakowski and Lebeau. Drakowski throws a ball high for ball 2. Count is 2-1. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Chippewas have a runner on third. Foul ball. Two and 2 is the count. Drakowski Steps back to the rubber. Rocks back. Here's the throw. Fastball with a lot of heat on it, just high. Count is 3-1. Stands are a bit more empty for Game 2 than they were in Game 1. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Hit down the third base line. That'll get past McVeigh and Leclerc. And that'll be a RBI single for Valamont. She'll drive Bracamonte home. And now up to the plate. Number 13, Britton. Out of Lakeville, Illinois. Britton appeared in 24 games, as a pitcher. Today she is playing as a designated hitter. Designated player, rather. Has a career batting average of .311 and quickly gets ahead in the count 2-0. And another pitching meeting. This coach comes from the dugout. Wolverines trail 5-3 against the Chippewas from Central Michigan. I don't expect a pitching change here, just a quick little conversation. Drakowski has looked pretty good so far. 2 outs and a single. Drakowski. Rocks back and delivers. Fastball in there for strike 2. Strike 1, rather. That was a rocket. Chippewas have a runner on first. And a ball just outside. The umpires in the stands disagreeing with the umpire behind home plate. But only one of them has the ultimate power here. Count is 3-1. Drakowski delivers. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Count is full for Breton. Britton, who struck out in the second, her last time up, also hit an RBI double in the first off of Hannah George. She's faced all 3 pitchers the Wolverines have had so far, and that is a full count walk. Valamont moves to second. Britton moves to first on the walk, and now Coberly will come to the plate for the Chippewas. She's also faced every pitcher the Wolverines have had to offer so far, and she's hit a double off both of the other 2. She'll foul tip. Only got 1 RBI on the day for Coberly. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Called strike on the fastball. There are 2 ducks on the pond for Coberly. One at first, one at second. But she's down in the count 0-2. Fastball swing and a miss, strike 3. Just 1 run on the inning. So Coberly goes down on strikes to end it. 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. Due up for the Wolverines, the top of the lineup again, Mataya, Leclerc, and Sealer. Mataya flew out to left her last time, and that was a fantastic sliding catch by Alexander, moving in all the way to foul territory. Kelsey Alexander as a fielder was fantastic her past 3 years here with Central Michigan. 304 putouts, 22 assists, and just 6 errors for a .982 fielding percentage. Still at the mound for the Chippewas is Bean. Bean's allowed 3 runs, all of them coming off homers. That was in the second for the Wolverines. Thole hit a 2-run shot after Livingston walked, and then Erickson hit a solo blast just 2 batters later. In game 1, Mataya hit a RBI double. First swing, fouled up and over the netting into the visitor bullpen. That was down the third base line. Bean checks her wrist. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Hit hard down the left field line, running back to the wall. A couple feet away from the wall to make the catch is Alexander. That's another fly out to left field for Ellie Mataya. And that'll bring Leclerc, Audrey Leclerc, to the plate. Audrey Leclerc flew out to right field her last time. Up, that was a good shot to right center field. And she goes to right again. It is far, it's a home run! Audrey Leclerc brings the Wolverines back within 1 run with their 3rd homer of the day. Audrey Leclerc makes it a 5-4 game. Chippewas still lead, but that's 3 home runs given up by Bean. Let's pump it up. Plays on the speakers for a 3rd time today. That is 5 home runs for the Wolverines in 3 games. This is one exciting softball game. After last night, which was a great game for Michigan offensively, but a 14-0 game isn't much in the way of tension. And then a low-scoring but tense affair in game 1, 2-0 Michigan win. This is a back-and-forth offensive battle. And that'll bring Sealer to the plate. Struck out swinging her last time up. Foul tip. Falls behind 0-1 in the count. Bean's pitch. At eye level. That's ball 1. Sealer out of Monroe, Michigan. In-state native. She made the Big Ten all-freshman team last year and appeared in 52 games for the Wolverines. Another foul tip. Trying to go for a slap hit. Looks like she's aiming in the gap between second and the shortstop. Not a big power hitter, just 1 home run in her 121 plate appearances. Just 5 extra base hits on 29 hits. That pitch goes low, hits the dirt. It's ball 2, count is evened up, 2-2, 1 out. Bean rocks back. Here's the pitch. Foul tip up in the air. That lands just past the third base dugout. Sealer steps back into the box. Loads her weight. Lifts the bat. Another foul tip back into the netting. She's staying alive. About to face the 7th pitch of this at-bat. Bean checks the signs. Delivers. That's a fly ball into center field and caught 15, 20 feet away from the wall. That'll be 2 outs, and Melina Livingston will come to the plate. Livingston walked and made it home on the Thole home run her last time up. Earlier today, she had went 1 for 3 with a single. Melina Livingston played for Penn State before coming to Michigan. Her time with the Nittany Lions. She hit, there's a ground ball, dribbles to third, and the throw is in time. That'll end the inning. With 1 home run, that's 1 hit and 1 run. No errors and no one left on base. Wolverines trail 5-4, and I'll be with you for inning 4 of Game 2. This fall ball doubleheader presented to you by WCBN Sports Radio. We are back for inning number 4 of Game 2 between the Chippewas and the Wolverines in this fall ball doubleheader. Alexander. She's up for the Chippewas and is down the count 0-1. She singled and made it all the way home last time, her first time up, and she walked and was left on base her last trip to the plate. Wolverines looking for their first Their second scoreless inning, defensively rather. And that's a fastball by Drakowski. For strike one, count as strike two, count as 1-2. Pitch is high and outside. Count evened up at 2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Lauren Drakowski. And that'll bring Suva to plate. Suva loads her weight back. Watches called strike 1. She looked like she was gonna swing and then did it. Moved her hips forward, just never brought the bat round. The 0-1 pitch from Drakowski. Watched for ball 1 outside. Drakowski lines back and delivers. That ball is just tipped off the bat, and sprinting to make the catch is Leclerc. Beautiful run. The catch was like a snow cone catch just at the very tip of the glove. And 2 up, 2 down. That'll bring Cronin to the plate. Cronin, who popped out infield flies her both trips to the plate this game. And she watches strike 1, fastball from Drakowski. Here's the 0-1 pitch, that's high. The dugout for the Chippewas not stopping cheering. Still excited by this lead. Much more vocal than they were last game, when their bats remained silent with 15 strikeouts. Drakowski's 1-1 pitch outside. Fastball just missed his mark. Here's the pitch. That's a strike called. Count evened up at 2s, 2 outs. Drakowski checks the signs, rocks back, delivers. Swing and a miss, but it's a foul tip. Off-speed pitch, and it looks like Cronin just barely got a piece of it. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning. And 3 up, 3 down will bring us to the bottom of the 4th. Drakowski delivering. And there's a new pitcher for the Chippewas. That'll be number 8 in red, Madeleine Wallace, the sophomore out of Lenmont, Illinois. Last year, Madeleine Wallace had a .879 ERA, but she won 2 games. She started 2 and appeared in 7. 15.1 innings pitched, allowed 20 runs, just 19 of them earned, walked 11. She just struck out 3, so she struggled her freshman year. But it's fall ball. Now's the time to experiment and show your coach what you can do. New year, new you. Taking a look around the baseball diamond in the pros, the Reds are losing to the Cubs 2-1, but they have a base runner in the top of the ninth. Blue Jays beating the Red Sox 4-0. Bottom of the fifth, Diamondbacks and Giants tied up at 0, and the Mariners, who walked off to clinch a playoff berth for the first time in 20 years, that ends a drought. 21 years. That ends a drought longer than any playoff drought in the MLB, NHL, NFL, or NBA. They're leading the Athletics 3-1. The Phillies and Nationals played the first game of their doubleheader today. Nationals beating the Phillies 13-4. Phillies now in trouble of not making the playoffs. First pitch hit by a ground ball by number 2 in maize and blue, Kiki Thole. Gets just past second base, and that'll get her a single. She'll move to 2-2 for the day. And Fantucci will come to the plate. Fantucci was described by her teammates in high school as having a very high softball IQ. She's always 1 or 2 plays ahead. That quote is credited to Olivia Cato. And that's a bunt by Fantucci. Fantucci will not make it to first in time, but that's not really the point of a sacrifice bunt now, is it? Thole moves to second. And now that'll bring up freshman Maddie Erickson. Her last time to the plate, Maddie Erickson hit a home run. Absolute bomb into center right field. And she'll watch a ball go by her. Ball 1. Count is 1-0. Wallace checks the signs. And the pitch. Foul tip just off the top of the barrel. Hit the netting behind home plate. Roll back into the infield dirt. Maddie Erickson also pitched in her time as a high schooler. She also plays third base today. She's serving as the designated player. Count is 2-1 for Erickson. Bean throws. Another foul tip. That goes up and over the press box on the third base line. Erickson gets set in the box. She has a position at the plate most similar to a MLB player, how they stand, and where they position themselves next to the plate. And she'll watch a ball go high to make the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. The pitch coming from Wallace. Foul swing and a foul tip. It's a foul tip. Looked like a foul tip, and then Erickson started walking back to the dugout. Ref reminded her, or correct her. Got a piece of that. Here comes the pitch from Wallace. And that'll be outside and high, ball 4. Wolverines have a base runner on first and second as Karakabru comes up. She is 0 for 2 on the day with a walk, and that'll be a pinch runner coming in for Erickson. The pinch runner is Iroquois. She pinch ran last night as well. Can't exactly remember if she ever made it home. I think so. When you score 14 runs, probably your base runners made it all home. Again, there are not that many stats to check on when it comes to fall ball. So Iroquois will pinch run at first base for Erickson. Swing and a miss from Caracabru. Good cut, but the ball was low. Falls behind the count 0-1. Wallace looks to the dugout for her signs. And delivers. Outside. Ball 1. Scores 5-4. Michigan trails the Central Michigan Chippewas. Chippewas scored 4 in the first. Wolverines scored 3 in the second, and both teams scored 1 in the third. Wolverines have a base runner at first and second. 1 out. And the pitch. Hit hard down the right field line, and that'll curve itself foul into the Michigan bullpen. 1-2 is the count for Caracabru. Caracabru's father played baseball at UCal Riverside. He's now part of a land advisors organization. There's a ball. High, 2-2 for Caracabru. Two and two is the count, 1 out. Runners first and second. Wallace rocks back and delivers. Ground ball to the third base player. She tags out Thole. But Erickson makes it to second, and Caracabru with a hit. Don't believe that goes down as a fielder's choice, so Caracabru gets her first hit of the day. Maddie Rainey up to the plate. Maddie Rainey was named Miss Softball last year. She helped her high school team to a state championship, and she homered in that 5-0 win. She's solid in the field as well, 952 fielding percentage. She's the first Miss Softball winner since 2008 to be south of the Mississippi River. No. Just south of the river. She's from Michigan. South of the river. Probably the Huron River. Yeah, that would make sense. Anyways, back to the game. After that little timeout by the Chippewas pitching staff. Maddie Rainey watches strike 1. Count is 1-1. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Wallace shuffles the ball in her hand. This ball is hit high into left field and will be caught by Alexander for a flyout. And that'll end the fourth inning. Wolverines have 2 hits, can't capitalize as they leave 2 players left on base. Score is still 4-5 in favor of the Chippewas, and I'll be right back with you in just over a minute for the 5th inning of this game. This is game 2 of the doubleheader. We are back in the 5th inning, top of the 5th, between the Central Michigan Chippewas and the University of Michigan Wolverines. Drakowski still in the pitching circle for the Wolverines. She's got herself an early 0-2 count. At the plate for the Chippewas is pinch hitter number 18, Alyssa Holo. She's in for Bracamonte. She'll watch ball 1 go past her, 1-2 count. Central Michigan Chippewas over the Wolverines right now on the scoreboard, 5-4. Swing and a miss. It's a foul tip, rather. That hits Thole up high. Crowd falls silent. She's standing up and walking. Looks like it caught her on the right shoulder, just where there's no pads. She's brought a little bit of water and she'll probably be fine. That's her throwing arm. That got stung by the ball. And she'll hug it out with the batter, no ill intent. Obviously just foul balls. She shakes out her throwing arm. Looks like she's still good. Gives a thumbs up. We'll get back to play here. Holo. Down the count 1-2. Drakowski still on the circle. Here's the pitch. Off speed, swing and a miss, strike 3. That will be the 4th strikeout for Drakowski today. And up to the plate, another pinch hitter, Talon Knapp, the junior out of Vicksburg, Michigan. She'll watch strike 1. She's had just 5 at-bats with her time at the Chippewas. 1 hit was a single. She's also been walked once and struck out 3 times. Got herself an on-base percentage of .333. She's 1-1 in the count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Knapp steps back into the box. Watches a fastball just inside, barely out of the strike zone, evens the count at 2s. Drakowski fixes herself back to the rubber. Rocks back, delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's 2 straight strikeouts for Drakowski. Sorry, that's 3 straight strikeouts for Drakowski. 4 of the last 5 of the last 6 batters went down on strikes. Just 1 line out to the third base last inning. Tolmie watches ball 1 go outside. She practices her motion. Quick swing of the hips. Here's the pitch. Ball 2 low. Drakowski finds herself in a 2-0 hole quickly. Takes a breath, step off the mound. Re-ups on the rosin, gets back. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Off speed, in there for a strike called, strike 1. Wolverines have really shaped up defensively with Drakowski pitching. She's allowed just 1 run. That's a foul ball, high, and hits the wall on the third base line. The side wall, not the back wall, that is. Baseball exhibition still going on. Softball exhibition still going on. Lots of action at the Wilpon Baseball and Softball Center. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So 3 up, 3 down, all on strikes in this 5th inning. Great work from Drakowski. This Wilpon Center, named after Fred Wilpon, of course, University of Michigan alumni, and principal owner of the Mets until 2020. And if you ask anyone who roots for baseball in Queens, well, obviously they're very stressed right now, being so close in the standings with the Atlanta Braves and having 2 games left against them, and having DeGrom lost that last game last night. They'll also say that Wilpons are some of the stingiest owners in the MLB, especially for such a large market like New York. But with Steve Cohen at the helm, all those woes have melted away. Francisco Lindor, Max Scherzer, Starling Marte, all of those as seen as big signings that the prior regime definitely would not have made. Not to mention, there's no sunk cost fallacies anymore, as, for example, Darren Ruff, who struggled mightily for the New York Mets, would not have been kept around would have been kept around to the old regime, considering he was traded for at the deadline. You know, Mets gave up a couple of prospects. They swung and they missed on a trade. But Darren Ruff was done away with by this regime. You can't say that's the same would have happened with the old regime. Not to mention, Dom Smith costs, some cash to send down to AAA when he was struggling. And besides the cost, Steve Cohen said, do it. Make the team better. Well, the Mets now can fight for first place, and that's what they have to show for it. Ellie Mataya takes ball 1, low and inside. For this, the bottom of the 5th inning. Wolverines trail by 1. The score is 5-4. No runs have been scored since the bottom of the 3rd. Still at the mound, at the pitching circle is Wallace, and that's a line drive straight to the third baseman. Fantastic catch by Bracamonte. That ball had some heat on it coming off the barrel. Looked like it was going to drop in left field, but instead Bracamonte got her glove on it, and that's a line out. So Mataya moves to 0-3 for the day. Fly out, line out, all to the left side of the field. LeClaire homered her last time up. She's up at the plate. That was a solo shot. Swing and a miss, strike 1. LeClaire 2 for 5 on the day. Fouls this one into the netting on the third base side. Quickly finds herself in an 0-2 hole. On deck is Sealer. Sealer struck out and flew out her last 2 times. In fact, she's 0 for 5 on the day. Not something you like to see from your third base, your third position in the lineup. Still plenty of time to turn it around, though. Audrey LeClaire watches ball 1 high. 1-2 count. Wallace grabs the rosin bag. Steps back into the circle. Stretches her arm out. Gets into her stance. Checks the signs, winds back, and delivers. Soft hit ball. That'll hit the border of the grass and the dirt in between the second baseman and the shortstop. That'll drop just outside of reach. That's a single for LeClaire. Gets herself on base. And now, 1 duck on the pond for Sealer. Like I mentioned just a bit earlier, she's struggled offensively today. Did well yesterday, but 0 for 5 on October 1st. And Sealer was showing bunt, and with that distraction, a stolen base for LeClaire. Pretty impressive there. Some quick base running. Now a quick visit to the pitching circle. That's a strike. That bunt was. Count is 0-1. Ump says resume action. Sealer looking like she's ready to swing. Here's the pitch. Swing she does, makes solid contact, line drive into center field. That drops between the center and the right fielder. And that'll drive home a run to tie the game. An RBI single for Ellie Sealer. Makes this a 5-5 game as LeClaire makes it home. And here in the bottom of the 5th, we've got a tie ball game. And that'll bring Melina Livingston to the plate. Grounded out to the third base side her last time up. Walked and made it home her first time up. Swing and a miss, strike 1 for Livingston. With the Nittany Lions, Livingston went .293 in her career. 263 plate appearances, 77 hits, 8 home runs, and 39 RBIs. A slugging percentage of .456 and an on-base percentage of .380. So an OBPS of over 600. Not too shabby. She finds herself in an 0-2 hole here. 1 out. Runner on first. On deck, Kiki Thole. And Livingston will watch that ball go past for ball 1. Foul tip. Fast pitch that Livingston was just able to get enough contact on to redirect it. Count still 1-2. And she'll watch a ball go high. Two and two's the count. Wolverines have a tie game on their hands. It's 5-5. Courtesy of 3 home runs and then that single by Sealer. Sealer, who has now stolen a base after that ball. So now the count is full. Runner on second. That's 2 straight base runners have stolen bases. Have the Wolverines figured something out? Sealer almost overslid on that stolen base, actually getting all the way around second. Had to make sure she stayed on the base, and she did. Hard hit ball by Livingston into center field. Defense will get under it and hold Sealer at second. So Melina Livingston flies out to center field, and that'll bring Kiki Thole to the plate. 2 outs. Thole has hit 2 home runs in 3 games so far. 1 last night in the 4th inning against the Toledo Rockets, and then today she had a 2-run shot, both of them to left field. Wind's fighting against her today. See if she can repeat. Thole hits a hard ground ball just past the second baseman. And that'll be an RBI single, and the Wolverines will take the lead here in the 5th inning off of that single by Kiki Thole. Sealer makes it from second to home, and that's why those stolen bases are so important. LeClaire nor Sealer would have had the time to make it all the way around from first, but from second, well, second they have the time for. And that brings Avery Fantucci to the plate. She bunted her last time up. And she'll foul tip this one back. Here's the 0-1 pitch, another foul tip. Fantucci finds herself 0-2. Wallace checks the signs. And the pitch. Ground ball, hard hit down the first base line. That'll be a easy force out for number 2 in red, Cronin. And that'll be the inning. The Wolverines score 2 on 3 hits. No errors, and they'll leave just the 1 on base. Wolverines lead 6-5 here in what will be the top of the 6th. I'll be with you in just 1 minute for continuation of WCBN's coverage of fall ball softball. And we are back for inning number 6 in this second game of the doubleheader. Wolverines took the lead in the bottom of the 5th. It's now 6-5 Wolverines. Drakowski still on the pitching rubber for the Wolverines. And she finds herself in a 1-1 count against number 41 in red. That'll be a pinch hitter for pardon me, looking at the wrong thing. That'll be Villamont. Villamont, who hit a single, an RBI single, her last time to the plate. Finds herself in a 1-2 hole here. Wolverines looking to keep their one-run lead alive. And Villamont will foul that one down the first base line, hit the netting. Lauren Drakowski. Looks like she's going to take a big step forward in a starting role. She's started the first game of fall ball and spent a long time in relief. And that'll be a strikeout looking. So that'll be 5 consecutive strikeouts for Drakowski. 7 of the last 8 batters going down on strikes. So she's now spent three total innings in relief. Well, no, 3 1/3 innings in relief. After going 4 innings last night. The only reason she was probably pulled was because the Wolverines were up 10-0. And, I mean, at that point, let's start experimenting with some bullpen here. One of those experiments was Hannah George, who struggled last night, struggled today again, pulled after just 1 out, after facing 6 batters, 3 of them hits, 2 walks. It's 4 unearned runs to her name. She's Drakowski's definitely going to take a starting role after starting just 5 games and then coming in relief in 14 last year. That's just my modest prediction. Fastball just low. That's a 3-1 count. Drakowski checks signs on her wrist. Rocks back and delivers. Check swing. Called strike. Count is full with 1 out. For Britton. Britton has doubled, walked, and struck out this game. And she'll chop 1 foul down the first base line. Keep herself alive a little longer. Here's Drakowski with the full count pitch, 3-2. And a called strike 3 fastball. A bit up in the zone and down the center. 6 strikeouts in a row for Drakowski. That's the 9th strikeout of the game for the batters of the Central Michigan Chippewas, and that's a swing and a miss. Big swing by Coberly. Comes up empty. And in now 12.2 innings, that is 24 batters struck out across this doubleheader. And now a called strike, and Coberly finds herself in an 0-2 hole. The pitch. Foul tip. Just off the top of the barrel. Wind's picked up a little bit here in Ann Arbor. Actually, it's dropped back down. It was up to 14 miles per hour. Now it's back down to 12. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Another 3 up, 3 down inning for Drakowski. That makes that 3 straight innings, 3 up, 3 down. And now it's the bottom of the 6th. The Wolverines up by 1, looking to tack on some insurance runs as they'll enter the pivotal top of the 7th. The last licks for the Chippewas. Offensively, trying to make something work. We'll see how many runs they have to make up. And Wallace will still be the pitcher for the Chippewas. Since she's come in, she's allowed 5 hits and 3 runs. And it is now Maddie Erickson at the plate. Walked her last time up, and that was pinch run 4. She also hit a home run once back in the 2nd inning. Hard swing and a miss for Erickson. Wallace rocks back, delivers. Slow ball. Hit hard down towards second base, right back at the pitcher. Erickson gets herself a single. And now Karakabaru up to the plate. She singled her last time up. Karakabaru. Will take ball 1. Gets back to the batter's box. Shows bunt, pulls back. And then looks like the pinch runner for Livingston. Number 7 for the maize and blue. Oh, no, that is Erickson. Never mind, I don't know what I was looking at. Erickson looked like she was going to steal, and she ended up going back. But Karakabaru got her bat back in time. That was ball 2. Swing and a miss from Karakabaru. Count is 2-1 for the junior. And she'll watch ball 3 go outside. Three 1 is the count. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. And Erickson does get back to the bag safely. The throw from the catcher. Just not in time. Cronin almost got the tag. And that'll be ball 4. A walk for Karakabaru. Erickson moves to second, and that'll bring up Maddie Rainey. Rainey flew out both times. One was a pop out to the infield shortstop. One was a fly ball, deep left field rather. Pardon me. Maddie Rainey, who played for Allen Park in high school, looking forward to her college career, and she's looking like a promising player. The question is whether she's going to, get any time at pitcher, because she has done well for herself. She pitched in the state championship. And she'll hit a ball that goes just foul on the third base line. And she'll watch ball 1 go past. Wolverines have base runners on second and first. No outs on the board. It's time for a freshman to show her coach what she's made of here. Maddie Rainey, foul tip. That'll spin its way back into the bleachers on behind the dugout. Count is 1-2. Rainey, swing and a miss, dropped strike 3. And she doesn't run because it's, base runner already on first. So that's a strikeout. That'll be just the first strikeout for Wallace today through 2 innings and change. In fact, it's just the second time the Wolverines have struck out all day. And now Ellie Mataya watches a called strike 1. Mataya, who is 1 for 5 on the day with a fielder's choice that she reached first on. Also doubled. Foul tip. Mataya flew out to left field in the first and the third. And then line drived out to third base in the 5th, and I remember that one as a really hard hit ball. It's interesting that she goes to left field as a lefty. A lot of pitches she's swinging a little late on. This is hard hit down to drops in center field, and that'll bring the base runners around. And that'll be a double. 1 run will score. Erickson makes it all the way home. Karakaburu to third, and a double for Ellie Mataya with an RBI. Her second RBI of the day in this doubleheader. Her first of the game. And that'll bring LeClaire to the plate. Audrey LeClaire hit a home run. Has 2 runs on the game. Hit a home run earlier and in the 3rd, and then in the 5th she had a single, stole a base, and then was drove in by Sealer. And that'll be a mound visit for Wallace. So the Chippewa staff tries to strategize. 1 out, down by 2. Runner on second for the Chippewa. Wolverines are up by 2. That's the situation for the Chippewas. They're down by 2. I want to thank you for joining us for this coverage of University of Michigan fall softball. It's been quite the doubleheader here today. Wolverines won 2-0. It's been quite the weekend. Wolverines outscoring their opponents by a combined score of 23-5 across these 3 games. Of course, when the Big Ten comes to town in the spring, that's going to be a much more difficult game. But Wolverines have a 2-run lead here. Hard hit ball deep to center field. At the warning track, it is caught. Both runners tag up. So that'll be an RBI sac fly to the center field for LeClaire. Mataya will move to third, and Karakaburu will make it home, so RBI for LeClaire. That was a deep fly ball all the way to the warning track, 215 feet back there. Just a little more power or the wind in the right direction, and that would have been a 3-run shot. Instead, Ellie Sealer at the plate. Runner on third, 2 outs. Foul tip. That'll land in the stands behind third base. The event team will go to collect the ball. Wallace throws another foul ball, but this will be a diving catch made by Alexander to end the inning. Incredible grab. So with that fly out to left field, Wolverines will score 2 runs, and that'll be on 2 hits with 1 left on base and no errors. Central Michigan down by 2 heading into the final inning of regulation time. And that's Drakowski still in the pitching circle for the Wolverines. Can't be a much more tense situation than this. It's the second time in 2 games Wolverines have found themselves entering the final inning with a 2-run lead. Last time it was Cronin, Springer, and Bracamonte. Strikeout, ground out, strikeout. Now it's Alexander, Suva, and Cronin due up for the Chippewas. This was the squad that came up in the 4th inning. Strikeout, line out, strikeout. In fact, that is now 7 straight batters retired by Drakowski on strikes. 9 out of the last 10 batters. Absolute display of dominance for Drakowski. Here's the first pitch. Swinging a foul tip. Just getting a piece, that is Alexander, after making another fantastic diving catch in the outfield. She's up at the plate. Foul ball, out and back. The baseball game on the other side just ended, and that's a tight play as it was a softly hit, sort of bloop ground ball. Diving to stop it from going into the outfield was Karikaburu. She was on the ground, tossed the ball to the second baseman, who couldn't get to the bag in time. That was Indiana Langford. So it'll be a single for Alexander, and that'll bring Suva to the plate. Pardon me, pinch hitting. Not Suva. We'll see who that is. Number 21 in red, Maddie Springer. Springer, who struck out twice and grounded out in the final inning last game. And she finds herself 1-1. Springer focuses in. Here's a pitch from Drakowski. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Runner on first for the Chippewas. So the tying run at the... Pardon me, I seem to have done some math wrong somewhere. It is a 3-run lead for the Wolverines, not 2. It's 8-7. Somewhere in my brain I said that 6 plus 2 is 7. It's not. It's 8. Anyway, there's a strikeout. Another one for Drakowski. Now it's Cronin at the plate. Inside, ball 1. Back to Cronin outside. So outside of the batter box, rather. Wolverines up by 3. Tying run on deck. Swing and a miss. A running swing. Looked like it was going to be tried to be a slap hit. With the Wolverines shortstop, Ella McVeigh, playing a bit closer to third base than usual. There's a sizable gap. That Pitch from Drakowski is high. That's a ball. It's 2-1 is the count. 1 out. Top of the 7th inning. Wolverines up by 3. Here's the pitch. It's low for ball number 3. Drakowski looks at the dugout, takes a deep breath, collects herself, stands on the rubber. Here's the pitch. Foul ball, chopped down the third base line. That'll roll its way past LeClaire in third base. Couple practice swings. And the full count. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Rock back and delivered. Short grounder. Drakowski gets there and makes the throw to first in time. 1-3 put out. And Alexander moves to second. But the Chippewas down to their last out. And the player who has to keep it alive is Alyssa Holo. Struck out swinging her last time up, and she misses this one. It's strike 1. Here's delivery, the 0-1 pitch. Chopped foul down the first base line, right into the dirt. Across the way, the Wolverines won against Xavier. It was 12-9 is the final score. Long game. And the 0-2 pitch is a ball inside. Fans thought it was strike 3. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Chippewas down to their final strike. Delivered. That's high and outside. So after that rough first inning, Wolverines recovered well, allowing just 1 run so far. Swing and a miss. It's foul. Swing and a miss. And the ball game is over. The Wolverines defeat the Central Michigan Chippewas 5-8 in Game 2, the doubleheader. The Wolverines are your victors valiant tonight. Wolverines scored 3 in the second, 1 in the third, and 2 in both the 5th and the 6th. Chippewas scored 4 in the first to jump out to an early lead and just 1 in the third. And their bats went silent as Drakowski struck out 9 of 10 in the middle frames and struck out 2 more in the last frame. And my name is Joshua Tenzer. For all of us here at WCBN, good night and go blue.